So this is the LG V10. This is LG's first V series phone, and this is my full review of the V10. So I've previously shown the unboxing and my first impressions on this phone a couple of days ago. I'll just sum up that video in one sentence. It's a great high-end phone worth considering. If you do remember, less than 6 months ago, LG had just released the G4. And already, they've released a new phone that is very similar to the G4. Just the design and a couple new features have been added in. We'll be discussing what those features are. Now, I've received a Korean model to test out, which is not a problem. It's the same device as the American version. The only difference being that the Korean version has Korean bloatware. My AC adapter is incompatible with all of my US wall plugs, and I can't use my carrier T-Mobile's LTE. But other than that, it's still LG's newest flagship. I wanted to start off with what seems to be one of the most anticipated parts of this phone, the second screen. Apparently, for my first impressions video, one of you guys let me know that the second screen is a response to the Galaxy S6 Edge, and it does make sense because Samsung brought this idea of a second screen first. But with this second screen, you can have a custom signature, slide it to the right, and you will have your recently used applications, which you can switch back and forth to. You can control your music player, and the display is always on. Even when you lock your phone, it shows you your notifications, the time, date, the battery life, and if you swipe it to the right while it's off, you'll get a couple of toggle controls, such as maybe toggling the flashlight, opening the camera right away, and you can even turn off or turn on the Wi-Fi, and modify the sound. I actually did see myself using the second screen quite often, switching back and forth between applications, seeing my notifications come in while I'm watching a YouTube video, and just having a custom signature, such as my name, made this phone even more special and premium, as it looks like the signature is actually carved into the top of the phone. The screen adds an extra 0.9 centimeters in length to the phone with a resolution of 1040 by 160, so it doesn't impact the size or the design of the phone too much. Overall, I like this new screen. I hope other companies decide to follow this route in the future, or at least try something similar, but for now, we just have LG and Samsung in the game. Taking a look at the display, it's a 5.7 inch Quad HD display, which in terms of resolution is 2560 by 1440, and it has a pixel density of 513, which is a little lower than most 2015 flagships, such as the Note 5, Nexus 6P, or even the LG G4. Yet, it still has an IPS LCD display, giving you some bright colors, great details, and great color ratios. Your blacks are going to be extremely black, your whites are extremely white, the color rendering is beautiful. So in other words, watching YouTube videos, playing video games, on this gorgeous, huge display is a great experience. So, all in all, this phone is 6.28 inches in length, 3.12 inches in width, and 0.34 inches in thickness, giving you a solid lengthy phone. It's bigger than the Note 5, the Nexus 6P, and even the iPhone 6s Plus. And you thought the Nexus 6 was a huge phone. Not only is this a big phone, but it's also a little heavy, weighing at around 192 grams. It almost feels like you're carrying a small tablet in your hand, but I kind of like it. It sort of brings that premium solid build into the palm of your hands. Maybe the top reason for its weight is because of the stainless steel accents on the side of the phone, which by the way are a fingerprint magnet, but they are surprisingly not slippery. Now that doesn't mean that the entire phone is pure metal. In fact, most of the phone is still plastic, but I think LG was trying to aim at a premium looking device, and I think they nailed it. It looks and feels way better than the LG G4 in my opinion. According to LG, the phone is supposed to withstand drops and bumps like no other. Plus, since the screen is double panned with Gorilla Glass 4, I feel it's a little more secure than most devices out there. Have I drop tested it? Nope. And I don't plan to either. I'll be more than happy to take their word on it or watch some other YouTuber drop test it. Will I be using a case? Probably, because even though it's a little more secure, I still don't like scratches or dents on the edge of my phone. I'm pretty sure you don't either. Also, if you're curious, there's no slight curve on the phone. It's straight out flat. If you take a quick look on the back, you have the volume rocker, the power button, which acts as a fingerprint scanner, which by the way allows you to add multiple fingers, I didn't end up using it too much, and that's not because the fingerprint scanner wasn't worth using. The only reason I disabled it was because when the device was flat on the table, I had to keep on picking up my device to unlock my phone with my finger, or I had the other option of double tapping to wake and then unlocking with a pattern. But I just felt that that's a lot of work just to unlock my phone if I'm trying to open my phone every few minutes. So I just ended up swiping up to unlock. Now I can see why a fingerprint scanner on the front of the phone is not such a bad idea anymore. Okay, I totally went off topic here, but I wanted to talk about the back. And yes, it's a removable back, a removable 3000 milliamp hours of battery life in it, a SIM card slot, and a micro SD card slot. I praise LG for being one of the few companies that still do this. The model I got is a slight peach color, or a modern beige if you want to get fancy with it. And it has a rugged back, which I find makes it feel grippy and tactile. But there's plenty of colors to choose from. You have black, white, blue, and light blue. Now I didn't get to choose the color, but if I had to choose personally, I would definitely go with the white model, as it looks so much cleaner and brighter. But overall, with the design of the phone, I definitely think this is one of the most beautiful and premium looking devices on the market. When you pull out the LG V10 from your pocket, it's going to be an eye catcher, and believe me, a lot of people are going to be asking you, what phone is that? So be ready. The software on this phone and most other LG phones have Android 5.1.1 with LG skin on top. As far as bloatware, I found a little more Korean bloatware than the usual LG applications. LG does give you the option of disabling most, but not all of them, which is a bummer because I won't be able to get rid of some of the Korean applications that are pre-installed on the phone. Obviously, if you're ordering from the US, you won't have this problem, so you'll get the usual LG apps such as the calendar, the clock application, LG Health, which just records the number of steps you take per day and gives you a goal depending on your weight and height, a music application, weather, calculator, and much more. Plus, to me, these applications are necessary applications, and most of which I use on a day-to-day basis. Extra features provided by LG include smart settings, which allows you to change your sound profile, toggle Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi when you leave your house. Maybe when you plug in your earphones, you can open your music player automatically. Another feature is Mini View. It allows you to shrink the entire screen for one-hand use, and you can resize the screen to make it smaller or bigger. To enable it, just swipe left or right across the edge of the navigation bar, and it will automatically be enabled. And then you must do the same to turn it off. You still have a dual window, which allows you to split your screen into two applications, so you can multitask with supported applications. To be honest, I don't use this feature much, as most applications weren't supported, but I can see how this is useful for people who want to take down notes while watching an informative video. You can rearrange the on-screen buttons with up to 5 buttons maximum. You have a button for the dual windows, a Q-slide button, which brings up a menu of LG applications that when tapped on pop up as a resizable window, so you can pull up your calculator as a window on top of Instagram, watch any video while playing a game, and so forth. And lastly, there's a button that allows you to capture your current screen and draw on top of it, crop it, and save it to a memo or even your gallery. There's also a new security lock called knock code, which is a tap pattern to wake up and unlock your screen. I definitely enjoy this lock method the most, especially in front of people, because half of the time they can never figure out how I unlocked my phone. And you have cool shortcuts like double tapping on the volume down button to open the camera and take a picture automatically, or you can double tap on the volume up button to open up the note memo to quickly take down notes. The current LG home screen I am not a huge fan of personally, as it just doesn't feel very materialistic. If you go all the way to the left side of the screen, on the home screen, you will be given tons of information on your phone. It's known as a smart bulletin, giving you calendar events, smart tips on cool features in the phone, and just features I have discussed already in this video. The good thing about this launcher is it's really fast and snappy, but I still had to switch over to Nova Launcher as it's more customizable, and I just like the pure Android experience. So here we go with the specs. LG chose to keep it very similar to the LG G4 with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 808 system chip, the hexa-core ARM Cortex, and Adreno 418. But now you have an extra gigabyte of RAM, so now you have 4 gigabytes of RAM, a smooth experience allowing you to run plenty of applications at once, multitask, receive notifications, and even play hardcore games at the same time. You have 64 gigabytes of internal memory, not to mention you have expandable storage with a micro SD card up to 2 terabytes, so memory problems are just close to impossible. Overall, these specs are top of the line and very close to it, so if you're looking for a phone with great performance and stability, this phone is a great option. Like I said before, the V10 comes with 3000 milliamp hours of battery life, so it's not great, but it's also not terrible. I can get 4 hours of screen on time until I have to recharge my phone, but I still can't complain because standby was surprisingly awesome. I would have a lot of battery life when I wasn't using the phone. It would barely use any battery life when it was set on the table. It doesn't even have the new marshmallow feature yet called Doze. So once this bad boy gets that upgrade, I have a feeling I'm going to be able to leave my phone on standby for at least a week and it will still have juice in it. So with the battery life on the V10, it's just average when you're actually using the device, or mostly leave it off throughout the day. It won't eat up any battery life, which is a lifesaver for most. Curious about the camera? Well, don't get too excited. It's exactly like the LG G4. The only difference being that the V10 comes with 3 cameras, 2 on the front, 1 on the back, and that's it. So if we take a look at the back camera, it's still 16 megapixels with an aperture size of f1.8, which is still wider than any competitor on the market besides the LG G4 of course. You have optical image stabilization, laser autofocus on the right side of the camera so you can focus extremely fast, video recording for up to 4K resolution, which of course looks extremely clear and details are shown tremendously, and you have a dual LED flash on the left side of the camera. The 2 front-facing cameras are both 5 megapixel, but one has an 80-degree field of view so you can take a regular selfie by yourself, and the other one has a 120-degree field allowing you to take a much wider shot for group selfies with your friends. So you can throw away that embarrassing selfie stick and just use this camera instead. Trust me, this thing is wide. I can literally see my body from head to toe with the wide camera. Finally, LG spent a good amount of time discussing audio. They included on the phone 3 distinct microphones, 1 on the headset, 1 on the bottom, and 1 on the top. Taking a look at the camera application provided by LG, you have some pretty cool extra modes that I happen to use, such as the slow-mo feature. What you can do here is you record your friend jumping in the air or doing something cool, and the footage can be slowed down up to 120 FPS. Now that's not as good as some other competitors, but you can still create some pretty slow videos. And there's also a new feature called multi-view, which essentially allows you to take a photo using both your front-facing cameras and the back camera as well, and then you can put it all together in a collage. So it's a new way of experiencing what is around you when you take a photo, and I thought that was a creative idea. There's also a time-lapse feature so you can time-lapse the clouds, the sun, or even the city. Once you record a video, you can also have easy editing and sharing with Quick Video Editor. You can choose to have a 15-second auto edit, and you have an option of quick sharing the pictures that you take to your social media. Obviously, you have a panorama mode. You can go into manual mode as well, and you have similar settings to a DSLR camera. So you can edit the ISO, the white balance, manual focus, the shutter speed. It's all there. If you're into photography, you will love this camera. And with the option to take raw photos, most people will appreciate this later on so they can edit the colors or the details of a picture. Here are a couple of pictures and video samples that I have taken throughout my usage of this phone. I've said this before and I'll say it again. The colors in each picture I took look natural and vivid. I took some fast-paced shots at my little brother's soccer game, and the results are very surprising. There's barely any blurred faces or legs since these little guys are running at their top speed, and they're mostly all huddled together. Even the ball is not blurred, and I took a picture of it in mid-air. I took some close-up shots, and you can get up really close to your subject. And I took some low light shots as well, which showed the area perfectly. With video, I shot some clips in 4K, and LG included a wind noise filter, which will make outdoor shooting more professional and crispier sounding than ever.
Alright guys, so here you can see how great the video looks. Obviously you have wind noise filter, great audio. I can also zoom in, there you can see. Very detailed. I like the zoom, it actually works very well. Gets really up close to the subject. Laser autofocus makes everything focus extremely fast. So for example, if I go up to this lemon and I focus extremely fast, here you can see I can get extremely close to the subject. And I'm going to pause the video, and here I go again. I just moved a little, but I paused it. I'm gonna pause it again and start from a different angle. So there you go. I started from a different angle, so there you can see the pause feature works just fine. I'm in manual mode right now, so I can probably change anything I wanted to right now. So for example, if I wanted to change the ISO, I can. So there you can see I'm changing it automatically while I'm recording as well, which is pretty cool. I can also change the white balance, make it a little more saturated, and yeah, everything looks great. I'm just going to pause it now, so that way I can get back to the review.
Overall, I am still impressed with the cameras. The pictures I've gotten look great, and definitely a top competitor. LG still provided a great camera on the V10. So with a premium device comes a premium tag. So let me tell you right now that this device is not cheap. It's still not confirmed yet as of 10/19, the day I started producing the review, but the price is suggested to be a little over $600 with available carriers such as AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile without a contract. It's expensive, I know. Is it worth it? Honestly, I do think so, because it comes with top of the line specs, a premium and solid design, made to sustain drops and harsh bumps. You can't go wrong with the camera. You can capture every shot instantly in great quality. Not to mention you also have a fingerprint scanner, 2 front-facing cameras, and a second screen. The release date for this phone in the US will be late October, so very soon. It's already been released in Korea, and there's still no word of the UK or a European release. If there is an update, I'll update it in the description and just give you guys a date. But other than that, I can't really tell you guys a certain date for any of these releases. Overall, this phone is a great competitor. I definitely love the performance, the battery standby, the neat features provided by LG, the camera, and of course the second screen for multitasking. Obviously, I would still rather go for stock Android over the LG interface, but that's just my opinion. And the design is a great step up and looks way better than any smartphone I have ever used and seen. Definitely, if you're looking for a device to upgrade to, the LG V10 isn't a bad idea. I highly recommend checking it out when it's released. And that's my full review of the LG V10. Thank you guys for watching. Definitely let me know what you think about this device in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up, as it took me a really long time to make this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Kapow!